the duality of power creep and why it exists in gacha games. So first things first, just a disclaimer, I will not directly talk about power creep of any specific game, and it is not necessary anyway for this discussion, and this applies to all gacha games anyway. So first things first, why does power creep exist? Well, the answer is you. It's you. That's right, it's you and me. But to further explain this, let's first explain the duality of power creep. So in front of you, as you can see, we have a balance at the top, power at the bottom, and the line in between is power creep. To keep things simple, have too much power with little balance, there will be a lot of power creep. And if the opposite happens, we have too much balancing and not enough power, whilst there wouldn't be any power creep, the power mentioned for these characters may feel lackluster, hence might not get that much pulls, leading the company or the devs or the game to not make that much money. And the overall goal for these games, these gacha games, is to make money as they're initially free to play. So unfortunately, power creep is inevitable if this exists in your game. Now, just a disclaimer, categories mentioned in this video and other categories upcoming in this video may not be complete opposites to each other, but they would at least complement each other for this discussion. So first things first, let's just put these to the side, make them smaller. To add to the next phase for this video is the aspects of the duality of power creep. First things first, we'll keep it simple with dislike and favor. So I'll just provide a few simple examples for these. So for dislike is having the thoughts of, it's actually good that they're being balanced. Or, I don't really like this character, so I hope they're not too OP. Stuff like that. And then for favor is the thought of, I want my favorite character to be OP. Or, my favorite character is coming soon and I want them to be as strong as possible. I might potentially wail on this character, get them completely maxed out and destroy all the content, that kind of mentality. Next aspect, we have feedback and apathy. So for this, it's more so along the lines of, for feedback that is I think this character can be improved or changed, or this character might be a bit too strong, maybe this can be changed. This is more so when you consider reviews during the beta section and so on and so forth. And then for apathy, very simple. I don't really care about this character. Who cares what happens? Just let it happen. Next up, this might be one of the more controversial ones, criticism and elitism. So for criticism, it's more so about, this character is too OP, they break the game, this is major power creep, this needs to stop, right? And then for elitism, is more so along the lines of, hey, this game's still easy, just get better at the game. I can still clear, I can still clear with these characters. So, I don't really see any issue with this, that kind of mentality. So the last section here we have is popularity. And as you can see, we're missing something at the top here, but we'll get to that in a moment. Popularity is more so about this character is liked by the majority of the player base, which means devs are on a tightrope, because if you do something wrong, right, quote unquote wrong, then a lot of the player base will be very unhappy, causing a bit of issues and, just drama all over the place. Not really a good thing for the game, not a good, healthy thing. Now, we do have an easy solution, right, which is the devs might think the first thing that they have in their mind is, let's just make them a little bit stronger than everyone else and everyone will be happy. But just a quick visual example of this solution, if you do it every single time, bit by bit by bit by bit, you'll see eventually there is power creep. So, as you noticed, due to the imbalance of the aspects of the duality of power creep, there seems to be an imbalance, and we're missing a fourth balancing factor at the top to ensure that the power creep at least remains controlled. And unfortunately, I'm not really too sure. I have a few ideas, but we'll just go through them. So the first thing is possibly backbone, right? So if something is popular and then you need to ensure that there's not too much power creep, you need to have the backbone. You know, the community needs to have a backbone to let the devs in the game know that no, this character is too strong. We do not want this to keep going. You know, speak with your wallet type mentality. You know, don't pull the character, don't spend any money, that kind of thing. But, you know, it's pretty obvious that we don't really have that kind of backbone in the first place. I mean, we say the character's OP, but if the game releases it, well, it's one of those FOMO, might be too strong, you gotta pull. And again, leads back to you and me, unfortunately. Now, I do have another suggestion for this. Maybe innovation. Innovation might be another potential bit here, so to counteract the popularity. And innovation is more so things about, you know, different kinds of maybe adding new gameplay to it, or adding a different reason to make the character be pulled outside of just their OP. You know, that is the innovation part. This is more so like a mix between the community, but mostly the devs. You know, the community might give feedback that the devs might use to improve their game in a new way. But yeah, innovation is definitely I would say a very important factor, but I'm not sure if this is the opposite to the popularity to help counteract that. That's why I've gave it question marks. But overall, if you don't have a concrete complementary aspect to counteract the popularity of characters, then because of this, there will be an increase in power creep due to the imbalance. So, to summarize, power creep is inevitable, but it can be maintained. Too much of balance or power is harmful to the game, obviously. Games would need to provide innovative solutions to largely reduce power creep. For instance, improve gameplay only, you know, not too much on the damage side, but make their gameplay very nice, very fun, improve animations, or improve the backstory and the story of these characters, giving a better link between the player and the character, that kind of thing, just a few examples. And then lastly, players need to be more accountable and responsible for their actions. Again, as I've been saying before, the reason for the power creep existing in the first place is because of us, because of you, because of me. But overall, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this video. If you have any thoughts, any feedback that you'd like to provide, please let me know down in the comments below. It's been your boy Nitrostorm. I'll see you guys in the next stream or video. Peace.